Hello, hi Subhash, how are you?
Hi Rakshita, good evening. I am doing well except a little cold. I have caught cold and coughing also.
Oh, you're not keeping well.
Not
So what is it?
serious, just
Mhm.
season change, the season is changing, so little cough is there only this much. Otherwise, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thankfully, I'm not. I'm physically also keeping well these days. Um,
Okay, nice.
is it because of the change in the weather? Because that usually happens to me, Whenever the weather changes, I almost always catch a cold. Does that happen to
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Yes, yes. This is because of that only. Yeah.
Uh, that's a very sad one. I hate that. I hate it when that happens. All right. So we are meeting after, well, not that long, but we're meeting after some time. So how have you been? How are things at home?
Things are well. Everything is okay. And actually, you are not there for some time also, I think. So
Um,
even though I wanted to book session earlier, but you are not seen in the tutor table, so I couldn't.
Maybe I was taking sessions, but maybe because I'd only opened it sometimes for like a short duration, so mostly it would get booked. So then I would not have appeared. That could have been a reason.
Yeah, maybe yes.
I'm very happy we get to meet now. Okay, so how's work now? Now that everything, I think work is offline for you now, right? The last time we spoke, you told
Yeah,
me.
it has been for 4 5 months, I think, that we are doing offline work. It's
Oh,
now quite normal.
oh. So now this has already become the new normal for you.
Yes, yes.
Finally working offline after COVID.
Yeah.
So do you miss working from home?
No, actually, we did not have to do work from home. We did not, the kind of work they do
Yeah.
and the facilities they have got in office, we can do it from home actually. So either it has to be from office, otherwise no work like that.
Okay. I think yes, I remember you telling me, even when the like we were in the peak of the lockdown, you told me that, like it's impossible for you to work from home. So some of
Yes.
your yeah, juniors still had to come. Mm. So are you all back? So are you guys still wearing masks in your area?
Yeah, but not as seriously that we used to do,
Mm.
say 5 6 months back. Now sometimes I wear, sometimes not. Everybody becomes just like casual now. They are not taking it seriously.
True. That's I think that's more or less the same in my city also. Like there was a time when people were literally scared of those people who were not wearing masks. And I was like, that's good. That's the level of awareness that we need to reach. And now it's back to the normal. So whoever wears a mask now is suspected to have COVID. That's why they're wearing a mask. So that is a weird guess, but yeah, that's how people are these days.
It happened with me also. Say earlier I was serious that every time when I went out I wore a mask. But nowadays when I see nothing is happening around, I mean earlier the situation was very grim. So I
Mm.
was also taking care of uh, seriously. But now it has become sometimes I wear, sometimes not, like that.
Mm. I feel, for me, mask has become it has become like a part of my outfits. Like, if I go outside, I need to be wearing a mask. Like, it has become very normal for me to be wearing a mask. I kind of feel uncomfortable if I'm not wearing one, to be frank.
So
And I feel,
when you wear masks with your spec, don't you find it uncomfortable?
so I did, but I've like figured out a hack. So what you need to do is you need to tuck your mask under this area. So if you tuck it under this, so then you make sure that you're breathing only through the mask because it becomes like a vacuum because your specs sort of push the mask down, and second your specs don't fog up. as much. So that's my pro tip. That's how I survived COVID. Yeah.
I find it very difficult because after sometimes I can't see anything. Then again, I have to take out the spec and I have to wipe it. Then again, I put on like that.
Mm. I can, I it's for me, it's for me, my ears start hurting. So it's, because the strand of the mask also is here, and then my specs are also here. So then it hurts a little bit. So that
Yeah,
that gets uncomfortable after a point. But yeah, what can you do? I think people who wear spectacles, especially girls, I tell you, they have a lot of issues. Like I can't wear a hairband because that also hurts my head. Then a lot of things, trust me. It's very sad, but you gotta live with it. Have you ever considered getting a LASIK surgery done?
pardon?
LASIK or a LASIK surgery done on your eyes?
No, no,
No?
no.
I'll tell you this fun story. I actually wanted to get specs when I was young. I wanted to have specs. Like as like a girl studying in eighth standard, I really want. I wished I had spectacles. Okay, and so my mom actually thought that I was faking it when I told her that I can't see things clearly
Okay.
because I'd always wanted to wear specs. Because the books I was reading, all these female protagonists, they always wore specs and they're very smart. So it's like I want to be smart, and that's why I want to wear specs. So when I actually did, like my vision sort of did start, it started giving me headaches, because I was having a power. My mom was like, no, she's no, she's lying, so that she can go to the ophthalmologist and request him for spectacles. But yeah, eventually I did end up getting specs.
But at
I'm
our
so
time, when we were in school, so whoever wore a spec, we used to tease them. Like,
really.
yeah. So, just miss like that. So we
Oh,
felt that the people, I mean, the student who wore these specs, so they are very boring kind of person. They are studious. They they, they think about book and study only. They don't have any other interest like playing games, etc. So we thought like that. And at that time, nowadays it's have become a style also. Even as you told
yeah.
me that you want to wear spec because there are so many fashionable frames and all these things now these times are available, but earlier there was only one kind of spectacles, and if you wear that spec you look old. So
Yeah.
that is the thing earlier, not nowadays. It's not.
Nowadays, and there's such pretty cat-eyed ones. Like earlier, I remember. So when I was growing older, it was the Harry Potter horn-rimmed spectacle. Like the circle one that's called a horn-rimmed spectacle. So that horn-rimmed spectacle was like really famous. And I had this story in my English textbook, which was also about this boy who's very smart, who also had the same kind of spectacles. And I was like, this is what I need in life. This is what is stopping me from being intelligent. Specs. Trust me.
So do you have two three pairs of spec, I mean glasses, that you want to wear sometime this one, another time that one, just as a style? Do you have that kind of?
It's always been a dream that I always wanted to have at least 2 to 3 pairs of spectacles, but I've never had them actually. I think right now I do. I have one frameless, pair, but I don't like them, so I never wear them. So I don't know if I'll call that an option. But yeah, if this breaks, then I do have something to like. I always keep one that it's scratched. Mostly it's the older one that I was using, but I still keep it very carefully so that if my specs by chance break, because that has happened to me, very careless. I'm very careless with my things. So that I don't have to go blind for the next couple of days by the time my specs are getting fixed. Oh, but
I
if you
thought
don't
that,
mind me asking, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I just telling that I thought that if I could buy three or four pairs every day, every alternate day, I will use one new one. But the cost of this thing is very high, so I can afford it. I had a wish like that.
Trust me. And
Okay,
if
so
you
you
want
are
to,
asking me. You are asking me something.
Yes, yes. So, if you don't mind telling me, what is the power that you're currently wearing?
To be honest, I actually don't know. This power I took long back. So it was 2011, I think, that power that I'm taking. So recently, what happened, before election in Assam, we had election. So it happened at the end of April and the first week of May. So at that time,
Mm.
I was given duty for election duty. So this was not working properly. Sometimes if I look down, it falls down. So I
Ah,
thought that it will be very difficult for me to do the election duty. So I
mm.
made a spec uh, uh, before going to election duty. So at that time, the power that I'm using with this spec, they increase. The doctor increased the power,
Oh.
but yeah, but still later what happened that I did not have to go for election duty because my duty was kept in reserve and I did not have to go.
Mm.
Since then, I have kept that spec, the new one, and I haven't worn it till now. And I'm using the old one, and it may be I really don't remember 2 point something,
2 point
2.75.
something.
Yeah,
Mm. That's a good power. That's good enough to prevent
yeah,
you
but
from it.
latest one was higher than this one.
Oh.
Yeah,
So you have a hyper myopia, or so you
both,
have
both,
farsightedness or nearsight?
both,
You have
both.
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 Uh, I have nearsightedness.
Okay.
I'm confused now what is called what, but like I have blurred vision. Like I have negative power. Like I can't see things. I think it's called nearsightedness. Yes, when you can't see things that are far away, it's called nearsighted. Very confusing names, if you ask me. Before I go ahead, I just have
Yeah, I
one
think you are
small.
right. Myopia, I think, near. If we can
Yeah, myopia is nearsightedness. It's when you can't see things that are far away. I think so. I'm very, I remember things like scientific facts, I mostly remember, but there's such a huge puzzle in my own brain that, it's like I know half of it, and that's even more dangerous. Like either you know none of it, which is good, or you know the whole thing. Knowing half of it is like the most risky part, but that's where I stand most of the times. So, just one small correction before we move forward.
hmm.
So you were calling your pair of specs a spec. Okay. So we never say spec, we say specs. Even if it's just one specs, because specs isn't actually a word. It is, the short form of the acronym for spectacles. So
Yeah,
then we
like
say spec.
glasses, like
Yeah.
glasses. You cannot say
You can
glass.
say glasses as well. Yeah. Right? But you won't say glass, you'll say glasses. Speck actually means a speck of dust, like a small thing or something. Okay, so a speck of dust was lying on the, let's say, on the clean glass. So it's a small dot sort of a dust. That's a speck.
Mm.
Specs is the specs that we wear.
So this is what applies for scissors and jeans, like a pair of jeans, a pair of scissors like this.
Yeah. So
Though
they
it's a
are,
single, though it's a single, but we say a pair of scissors or pair of jeans.
yes. It's solely because the design of the most of those things is in such a way that it's plural by existence. Like you can't have one leg of a jeans. You gotta have both the legs for it to be a functional pair of jeans. Similarly, you gotta have both the things, for the scissors to be functional. So hence they're always in plural. Very interesting, but sometimes it's not true. Like we never say noses because we have two holes in our nose too, right? But we don't say nose. That's good.
But we say nostrils.
Yeah, we say nostrils though. I like to confuse. So I have a younger cousin sister, and I really like confusing her with things like this. She always comes up with really weird answers for questions like this. Like she was asking me, "Why don't we say noses?" And she said, "Because that'll sound weird." Some third world answer she'll give me. But she's very fun to talk to. Right. So, since when have you had spectacles? Did you have specs as a child?
No, I actually, I mean, exactly, I don't remember the time, exact time. Mm, maybe 2008 or 9, maybe since 2008 or 9 years.
So, 8 or 9. I got my specs in 2014. Yeah,
Oh,
I think I was in eighth or ninth standard when I got my specs. And when I started, like when I got my specs, after that, around eight more kids in my class, they also got specs. So it was the opposite of the everybody wanted. Like I also want to wear a pair of specs to school. And I could. It was that and dyeing your hair. So dyeing your hair. But I got away with specs. So tell me this, Subhash. Have you ever considered dyeing your hair? Like other than the black, like usually people just dye them black once they are. Like, do you
no,
consider them? Hmm.
no.
No.
But if it was, I mean, when I was young, at the time when I can think of such things like applying dye, I mean, other than the black one, as you told me. So at the time, it was not there. This kind of fashion was not there. If it was
Mhm.
there, I think I would have done it.
Hmm. Interesting.
But now
What
it's
about tattoos?
huh?
What about tattoos?
It is also now I don't think that I can go for it. So at that time, I could have, yeah,
Hmm.
it's a
If it was
fashion.
the norm.
Yeah.
But if you had to get something tattooed, what would it be like? You know, people have very meaningful tattoos, some things that they love a lot in their life. So if you had to get a tattoo, what would it be? And where would
Maybe
you?
uh, maybe a name that I care for, or like that,
Hmm.
or maybe a symbol that I like. Maybe I can think of what exactly it would be right now. But yes, these things comes to my mind now. A symbol or a name.
I find, I am very intrigued by the idea of tattoos, by the way, because it's permanent ink and it's painful, of course, but it's also so you know how it works. A tattoo is that it penetrates your epidermis. That means it goes inside the top layer of your skin, and that is where they like put the ink. That's why it never washes away. So it's actually inside your skin, which is, I mean, if you ask me, it's really scary. And people have so many tattoos. Like I know people who have their entire sleeve tattoo. Okay, so to get a sleeve tattoo means your entire arm is
Not
tattooed.
only arm, the whole body also. I have seen the whole back and front, arms.
People have
Yeah,
face tattoos. How can you? It wouldn't it hurt? I mean, I can't imagine.
one news item I had seen on the internet that one girl, uh, she is a kind of a celebrity in a foreign country. So
Mhm.
she wanted to tattoo her eyes.
Oh,
So she had seen somewhere that one person had done it. So she also interested in doing so, and ultimately she had to lose her eyesight in doing that.
oh.
I've seen it on the internet. I don't know how far it is correct or not. That's I don't know, because you know that there are so many things
My
on
God.
the internet which may not be true.
Very true. So we won't say she had to lost her eyesight. We'll say she lost her eyesight.
She lost her eyesight.
Her
Yes.
eyesight because of that. So she wanted to get her eyeballs tattooed.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh
That's
my
what.
god. That sounds it sounds dangerous. You know, I know
Mm.
of people who've gotten makeup tattooed. So you know how women apply eyeliners? So these days there are eyeliner tattoos. So you can get your eyeliner permanently tattooed on your
Oh,
eyelid.
okay, okay,
So you'll
okay.
never have to apply it or remove it. I think the idea is really cool to me if you ask me. It was very interesting. I saw like one day, so I do these weird things and I just go to YouTube and I watch really weird, random stuff. So this is one of those videos. I saw this for 1 hour. This girl she used to do winged eyeliner also.
Okay, in that case, you can find this one if you get time. So
Yeah,
you
I
will
look for.
try. Okay, you can find this one if you
Hmm.
remember and if you get time. So you can try
Hmm.
see it is
Sounds good.
there. And when did you see that people are using these tattoos? And the first time it came to your notice?
The first time I noticed, I think it was around the time in ninth and 10th standard. So I used to be a huge fan of Justin Bieber. That time was like, he was the craze. So Justin Bieber actually has a lot of tattoos. And so he has his entire sleeve tattooed. And I actually thought that was, so people started wearing something underneath their clothes, which also looked like that. So I thought it was like that cloth, but it turned out there was his skin. I was really amazed by the fact that you can take a shower, but it won't go away.
I think there is a footballer,
Oh,
this
Messi.
no, 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 renowned footballer. He is David Beckham, I think, from England.
Oh, really, Beckham.
He had a tattoo that was uh, he tattooed his fiance's name right here, and
Oh,
that was in Hindi, not in English.
oh,
Yes.
I never knew that. Wow. I have seen a lot of European people with the Om or swastik tattooed on them. Now, swastik has a different connotation because of Nazi Germany,
Yes,
but
yes.
Om is mostly for, Shanti. So I like that.
And when I was child, so I first saw tattoos at the time. The kind of tattoos that we see now, it's become a
Mhm.
fashion. But at the time, it was
Mhm.
not a fashion, and did not know also. At the time, the these tea gardens that here in Assam, tea gardens are there. So there are the labor community who pluck these tea leaves and work
Oh,
in the
yeah.
garden. Okay.
Mhm.
So I have seen there, not the men, the women, they had tattoos.
Yes, I remember that. And I also seen a lot of Assamese people, and they don't do it with the tattoo pen. They have something like a stamp that they do it with. Like it's a pre-made stamp. That's what I've seen most people do it with. They're very thick tattoos. Like
Hmm.
the font, like the thickness of the font is very, it's very thick. I've seen those. They have like their names written. I know a lot of aunts of mine who have their names written. It was like in their time it was a trend to have your own name written now. I like that's pretty cool. What is? I just had one correction for you before we move on. So you said when I was child. So we wouldn't say when I was
Hey,
child.
I was
Yeah, we
a,
say sorry.
I
When
was
I
a
was a
child.
child, when I was a child would still be okay, but not 100% grammatically accurate. A
Oh,
better way to say it would be when I was younger, or
younger.
or when I was around the age of 7 to 8
Okay,
years, something like that. Okay,
okay.
so because child is you children is actually it's not age that denotes a child mostly when you're talking. It's basically when you say child you imagine a child, so you wouldn't
Okay,
call
okay,
yourself that. Yeah, so you'll be
okay.
denoting a certain age that you were in the past. I don't think I've explained it really well, but the grammatical part is something I'm sure of though. Right, so
So
we
what
have.
about you? So what about you? About tattoos? Have you had any, I mean, done on your body?
No, I haven't had. I've never gotten anything tattooed, but I have so many ideas. I don't think I'll
Okay.
ever get a tattoo, but I have a lot of ideas. Like I want to get quotes by my favorite author tattooed. Like now I'm thinking maybe I'll just get them on my wall, but I want to have it written somewhere around me. So yeah, that is something I definitely want. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you short. I wanted to I read this story and it reminded me of you. Like I remember suggesting a story to you, and I know you really liked it. So it's called uh, "The Library Girl." and it's by this author called Venkateshwar Iyer. It's a very sweet story. It's actually about this girl who really loves to read, and she runs to the. So I won't tell you much. I don't want to give you spoilers, but I feel like you should read. It's a very sweet sort of a short story, and I feel like you'll really enjoy it.
Okay. So have you read any book written by Sudha Murthy?
Yes, I love her. I've
Recently, I
read. Mm,
recently I read two books. Actually, I read one book. Uh, I did not know much about that one. So after reading, I found it is written so in a simple language, so it is very easy to understand and interesting also. So we can what is relate ourselves with the story. So
mm,
it is very nice, and it carries the moral also. The stories are very
yes,
good.
they're lovely. I have read Dollar Bahu.
Yeah, the latest one I read.
You
Total
read
Bahu.
that? I saw it on the bookstore. I was like, oh my god, it's Sudhamurthy, and I just bought it. It's such a lovely story. Oh god, I really enjoyed that one.
Did you read this one? A House of Cards.
No, I haven't read it. How is it?
Yeah, very good. You can read it. Yeah, it was
Maybe
also
I'll
very
buy
good.
it now.
This was that one was the first book that I read of hers, and I found it very interesting. Then I started reading her books.
She is, I mean, she writes so well. And you're right. I love the fact that there's a moral at the end of the story. And it's also, her conclusions are very beautiful. Like the
Yes.
ending is not the, usual happy ending. No, no. There's like a twist to it, and it'll end in something which is very real. It's not some imaginary fantasy land.